In a world where fast fat loss is celebrated, almost encouraged these days, how fast should you be losing weight? If you're new here, I'm Paul, and I'm going to help you understand how fast you should be losing fat without jeopardizing the muscle that we work so hard to retain and build, and without gaining all of it back as soon as you finish your diet, like every other time. Now, before I get started, everything that I'm going to go through today is found in my fat loss blueprint, a complete 3-step guide on how to set up your nutrition, your training, your habits, alongside any supplementation that you might need to lose fat. To get the blueprint, all you have to do is hit the link in the description below and I'll send it straight across, absolutely free. A lot of people's goals revolve around weight loss, which is fair. But unfortunately that means a lot of people will do a lot of random, stupid fucking shit to make the number on the scale go down. And when the only metric that you have of success is the number on the scale, you'll go to the extremes to do it. And if you're watching this thinking low number on scale equals good, high number on scale equal bad, then you really need to look a little bit inwardly about why your goals are actually your goals. Because I'm not hesitant to guess. I fucking know. Your goals are not linked to your weight. They're linked to how you feel, how you look, how you interact in social circles, and potentially possible trauma beforehand. Understanding that allows us to get to the bottom of your goals and why that number really means that much to you. Because if you continue to look at this number on the scale as the only metric of progress, you're going to be weak, you're going to be skinny fat, and you're going to look like a melted welly. Whilst your weight going down can correlate with fat loss, it's not the be all and end all. So let's get into it. The quickest way to lose fat is the slowest. We typically look at body weight losses of 0.5 to 2% per week. So if you're 100 kilos, it's 500 grams to 2 kilos per week. But this depends on a few factors. First of all, if you've currently been dieting for a long period of time and you're not seeing any progress, and you think you're in a deficit, we're not going to be seeing 2% of body weight every week. On the other hand, if you've got a lot of weight to lose, we might see over 2% of body weight every week. Then, if your calories are already really low, where do we go from that point? If you're already eating 1,200 calories and not seeing any progress on the scales, how do we cut those calories down to a realistic manner and you not want to jump off a bridge? And finally, if your habits and your training and your cardio and your steps aren't in place for you to lose body fat, then you should not be starting until they are. You need a platform to build from, because once you've lost weight and you need to come back to that platform and have a reset, maybe a diet break, a couple of refeed days, maybe you go on holiday, you need to know where you're going back to. And that platform is set right now. Understanding where your steps are on a day-by-day basis, understanding habits that create fat loss, having a sleep schedule, having a training schedule. All these things need to happen before you decide that you're going to cut your calories to oblivion. There are benefits to both fast fat loss and slow fat loss. I'm going to show you both. Slower fat loss obviously takes longer. It allows you to build habits. It allows you to build the foundation at which you can start building your fat loss process on. Always having that to come back to, whether that be a diet break, a refeed, or whether it might be your next diet phase. You have less hunger, you have better energy levels for training, you will diet on more calories, so you'll have a greater food variety and more enjoyment because of it. And all three of those lead to better adherence, so you are more likely to adhere for it for a period of time. So the fact that it's longer doesn't really matter because it's easier, so you can do the easy thing for longer. It allows you to put diet breaks in there, which increase long-term outcomes, and you have less potential muscle loss. The bigger the deficit, the more muscle that will be broken down for energy. Fast fat loss is much faster. Whilst it's harder, you only have to adhere for it for a shorter period of time. There's a big difference mentally between having to diet for 6 months and having to diet for 12 weeks. It is more restrictive, you have less food variety, but sometimes that makes you more adherent because you don't have to think about it. Sometimes the food variety that comes with slow fat loss increases the amount of opportunity for you to overeat. You'll have low energy levels, your training might drop off a little bit, you might come to some micronutrient deficiencies, so you're gonna have to supplement better. Both of them have positives and negatives. It's all about preference, it's all about timings, and it's all about what you've got coming up in life. Do you realistically want to diet for 8 weeks before your holiday, or do you want to diet for 6 months before your holiday? Whether you decide that you want to lose fat fast or relatively slowly, it will depend on how much fat you're carrying. Let's take two scenarios. You're 100 kilos, but you have 30% body fat, a lot of fat mass to lose. You can hit your diet really hard because your deficit is going to come mainly from the fat mass that you've got. Whereas if you're 100 kilos and 15% body fat, that's a lot less body fat to lose. It's a lot less body fat available to get energy from whilst you're in a deficit. So more muscle is at jeopardy because of that. So we do have to be very careful about how fast we want to go, especially if we're leaner. I've just lost 13 kilos in 26 weeks. Yeah, on my Forge program, I've had people lose 13 kilos in 8 weeks. Your rate of fat loss, not weight loss, is definitely determined by how much fat mass you are carrying. The leaner you are, the smaller the deficit you want. So how do we create the deficit to get you started. First of all, everything's in the blueprint. The link is in the description below. But the rule of thumb is we cut your calories by 10%. First of all, we need to work out what your calories are. For the first 2 weeks, you're just going to data collect. You're going to track your calories and you're going to see what that does to your weight on a day-by-day basis. Take the average over the 2 weeks. Has it gone up? Has it gone down? Let's say you've averaged 2,000 calories and your weight stayed the same. You'll be able to, from that data, to suggest that your calories are pretty much maintained. You can reduce that 10%, so 200 calories, that's 1,800 calories. Then you can increase your steps by 2,000, which helps burn 100 calories per day. That 300 calorie deficit that you've just created will burn 1 pound of fat in roughly 12 days. On the scale, your weight could literally do anything because that 1 pound of fat does not equal 1 pound of weight. Water fluctuations, how hard you're training, sleep, all these factors influence what your weight's going to do. You need to be taking progress pictures and body circumference measurements to understand whilst your weight is stayed the same, fat loss is happening. If you decide that you want to go for a faster approach, you can reduce by 20%, so 400 calories, and obviously that will speed up the fat loss process. If you need help calculating all this, it's all in the fat loss blueprint alongside all your training, all your nutrition, all your macronutrient breakdown, and all supplementation you need. There is no perfect weight or rate of weight loss that you need to stick to. It's all preference. But if you need a helping hand, you don't think you can do this alone, my 8-week group coaching opens on the 28th of August. It's £99 for 8 weeks. Hit the link below in the description if you want any more information and to get priority access. Hopefully this helps and clears things up for you. If it has, please like and subscribe. And if you've got any questions, hit them up below. And I'll catch you on the next one.